Eaten by soldiers in trenches and families during lockdowns, it's meat that never rots. Behind that pink block of meat lies a violent, high-pressure, oxygen-free process that transforms raw pork into shelf-stable legend. Before anything can be made, the factory must receive its core ingredients: pork shoulder and ham, shipped in massive, frozen blocks. Each load is checked immediately. Workers in chilled receiving bays inspect the meat for color, fat content, and internal temperature. If it's not cold enough, typically below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, it's rejected on the spot. Samples are sent for microbial testing to rule out pathogens like Salmonella or Listeria. USDA inspectors are often on site, verifying batch numbers and approval stamps before the meat moves forward. Each processing line at a SPAM facility handles over 20,000 pounds of meat daily, which is enough to make over 26,000 cans per shift. Nothing touches the grinders until every box is cleared. But passing inspection is only the beginning. Now the transformation turns mechanical. Once cleared, the pork and ham are moved into massive stainless steel grinders. The goal? Uniformity. Each chunk is shredded and pulverized into a consistent paste. No strings, chunks, or variation. The grind size is tightly controlled, exactly 1/8 of an inch. No more, no less. This ensures the meat cooks evenly inside the sealed can, without bubbles or gaps. In industrial mixing tanks, the paste is combined with salt, sugar, water, potato starch, and sodium nitrate. These aren't just for flavor. They bind moisture, preserve color, and prevent spoilage. Finally, the mixture is chilled to just above freezing. Cold keeps the emulsion firm, bacteria low, and texture perfect before a single drop touches metal. Cold, dense, and sterile, now the paste is ready to meet its container. The chilled mixture flows into a vacuum filler system, an automated machine that portions with near-perfect precision. Each can receives exactly 340 grams, with an error margin of plus or minus 1 gram. The iconic rectangular shape of SPAM's can wasn't just for looks, it was engineered during World War II for tight cargo packing in military supply crates. But portioning isn't the only goal. These machines also pull a vacuum, extracting as much air as possible from inside the can. No air means fewer microbes, longer shelf life, and no bloating during cooking. Each filled can moves smoothly along the line, spaced and timed to the millisecond. But sealing meat inside metal requires more than just pressure. It demands perfection. As each filled can advances, precision lid applicators lower pre-cut steel tops onto the open cans. With one swift motion, the system crimps the lid shut using a hermetic seal, which is airtight, watertight, and tamper-proof. A single SPAM production line can hermetically seal up to 90 cans per minute, each one locked tighter than a submarine hatch. This step locks in the vacuum pulled earlier, trapping the paste in a sterile, oxygen-free environment. Next, each lid is stamped with a batch code and timestamp, linking it to its production run. Every can also receives a scannable barcode, allowing full traceability from shelf to source, should a recall ever occur. Sealing alone isn't enough, as now the meat must survive sterilizing heat. Once sealed, the cans are loaded into massive retort ovens, high-pressure steam chambers that cook the product without ever opening it. Inside, the temperature reaches 250 degrees Fahrenheit, and each can is exposed to this heat for over an hour. This isn't about flavor, it's about safety. The entire cooking process happens inside the sealed can, meaning the meat is never touched again. There's zero chance of post-cooking contamination. The heat destroys bacteria, neutralizes spores, and transforms the raw paste into fully cooked, preserved meat. The pressure ensures the can doesn't burst or deform. By the time they leave the retort, these steel capsules aren't just cooked, they're nearly indestructible. Now the intense heat must be tamed and fast, or the entire product can fail. After sterilization, the cans emerge dangerously hot both inside and out. They immediately enter chilled water spray tunnels where powerful jets reduce the internal temperature with speed and precision. But surface water can't stay either. Air knives, high-velocity jets, blast off excess moisture, while heaters ensure every can is fully dry before inspection. If cooling isn't fast and even, internal pressure drops too quickly, and the Spam can collapse inward or warp, making it unsellable. Rapid, controlled cooling is essential to preserve both shape and texture. The balance is exact. Too slow and spoilage risk rises. Too fast and structural failure begins. This stage is silent, but it's where many cans meet their quiet end. But even a perfect-looking can means nothing until it passes inspection inside. Once cooled, the cans aren't just boxed and shipped, they're practically challenged. At regular intervals, workers pull random samples from each batch and open them for internal inspection. Technicians measure salt content, pH levels, texture, and bacterial growth, ensuring each unit meets the exact Spam profile. Every production batch undergoes at least 10 destructive tests, where cans are intentionally ruined to verify internal consistency and safety. Machines also perform vacuum seal integrity tests, checking for micro leaks or weak crimps that could lead to spoilage. If a single sample fails, the entire line is paused, and systems are recalibrated. This isn't a courtesy check, it's an industrial safeguard for a food that may sit on shelves for years. Once approved, the anonymous steel can is finally given its global identity. Clean, sealed, and inspected, now the cans get their signature look. High-speed applicators attach heat-activated wraparound labels, each precisely aligned as the cans fly down the conveyor. These labels aren't ordinary paper either, as they're engineered to resist humidity, cold storage, and long-distance shipping without peeling or fading. For exports, some Spam variants use dual-language labels, like English and Korean, due to strict labeling laws in international markets. After labeling, cans are grouped by batch lot and boxed into sets of 12, shrink-wrapped, and palletized. Each pallet is scanned, logged, and staged for shipping. At this point, a box of Spam could be headed anywhere, from a supermarket in Seoul to a storm shelter in rural Kansas. But before it reaches shelves, it waits, quietly stacked and globally tracked. Once boxed, Spam is moved into vast ambient temperature warehouses, where pallets stretch in rows dozens deep. These facilities are climate controlled, optimized for shelf-stable goods that don't require refrigeration but can't endure extreme heat. From here, shipments are routed to over 44 countries. Bar-coded pallets are loaded onto trucks, rail cars, and container ships, depending on destination. South Korea alone imports over $200 million worth of Spam annually, where it's not just food, but a holiday gift staple wrapped like luxury chocolate. In Hawaii and the Philippines, Spam is part of local culture. What started as war rations is now a global commodity, flowing across borders in sleek, silver bricks of preserved meat. But Spam's journey doesn't end at delivery. It's built to endure time. Spam isn't just made to last weeks or months, it's designed for years. Thanks to its sealed, sterilized environment and precise salt balance, each can remains shelf-stable for 3 to 5 years without refrigeration. It's why Spam is stockpiled by militaries, survivalists, and disaster relief agencies around the world. Some Spam cans from the 1970s have been opened in modern times and found still edible, with texture and taste largely intact. Only 3 things can compromise it: extreme heat, puncture damage, or broken seals. As long as the can stays intact and stored in a cool, dry place, it remains ready, quiet, unchanged, and waiting for whenever it's needed most. After seeing what it takes to create a can that can outlive a storm, would you trust Spam in your survival kit?